Alright, welcome back to Paul Justice. Let's continue. Okay. We had dinner. He walked in 5 minutes. Hit the waitress. Okay. Okay. Let's just press from the start. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin. Yes, he dined with me at the Porch Bowl Club quite frequently. We're enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual. I always eat at the table close to the piano. I see, where Mrs. Smith was sitting. So the date's in touch for your dinner. Indeed, the remains of my meal with Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, and then Christoph left. After that, Shitty Smith walked in. 5 minutes. So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Hehehe. Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Christoph, Gavin, and Shady Smith may have met. I believe I did say that. Oh, there's no rest about this meeting. Maybe here they're just passed in the hall. It does seem a little weak as pretense for murder. Oh, would it? It would be, but it doesn't agree that all that happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? Everything. But this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Ogo really mentioned. Plain but simple, elegant really. See, we set up a trap to plant a card and then fucking catch him and be like, oh, you're a cheater. You're a cheater and a loser. You swapped the cards. Yes. Just like that. The legend would be dashed to pieces. Yes. Yes, a harmless prank in this. It's by a quirk of fate that I haven't discovered it. Wait, quirk. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of Hearts. I had a feeling something would happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game. Disposed? Where? It was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I drew the card for the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice. The murder weapon? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A bottle of what's between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. Sounds like terrific drama. Card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. The police miss it in their investigation. Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the booker head of the courtroom number 3 approves of this battle wins. Fire your testimony. Okay. I would just like a look. Give me a zoom, please. I mean, I don't see me a card. Like, you at least see a little bit, right? Bottle's completely empty. It is. There's no card in this bottle. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? I examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No. What, Mr. Wright? Surely you said all you have to say for yourself. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out. Oh, and a 6th person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There's nothing. So what's going on? Mr. Wright, hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. My very decisive constructions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. Just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? He is not, for sure. But we are, though. Yes. He's yeah, I know. Made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get signal down in the hideout. We was on the first floor at that time. Not a soul. It was the middle of the night, after all. So there, in the dark in the restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. He didn't say break to leave the injured witness alone. He was dead. And when you returned, the victim was already dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. A little. He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked into a scene like that. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? It's obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. I feared Kristoff's law offices would give me a friend rate for advance fees. Glad to hear you did to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. Yes, I have gotten involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Yes. I see the issue. I see the issue. But, he had a hat on his head. He had a hat on his head.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out inconsistently, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? Forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. You put the hat on the dead man's head. He wore it toward the end of our poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright just like in his photograph. And I picked this hat up off the floor and put it on his head. Why did you do a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So, Mr. Riley didn't see it. It being the victim's, head. I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his friend. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin. Pardon. It just seems that our client determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin, there's his testimony is nothing like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. Beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's fed 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I think it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intended to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be mizzled. I haven't told a single lie here. When was the trap? I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. When I put the hat on the victim's head, I'll just say I had a reason for doing that as well. Reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone. That night, I recall that I spoke with the defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well. Something like that. The gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good. He turned to be dead. Someone hit him, hard. You mean someone cracked the faller's bone china plate? It wasn't you, was it? Me, please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate. Kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. Not plate, but plate. These framed for a certain gentleman's balding forehead. Could appreciate the defense description in that indicating my forehead. Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bull Club. Well, certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate? Oh, that's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. When I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come to your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So this is your reason. Reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin. It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright? Order! Out of order! Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. I think this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear the defense attorney Gavin's testimony? As the prosecutor, Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for today. Well. I don't know if you heard that, but a bike just went by the courtroom. They really got to get better soundproofing in these courtrooms. They have them in the lobbies, but not in the main. They gotta do it better. Anyway, April 2nd, 2:22 p.m. District Court, defendant lot number 3. Okay. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Frater are both in the judge chamber. Who would have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Hello? Oh, hi! Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. What's this all about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. An ace? Where do I remember that card from? It's just 3 aces. Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. Is this the missing ace? It's true, I've seen it. The 5th ace. Is it cheating? I swear to you. The missing 5th ace. Wait, the spots are red. Is this blood? Ooh. You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth. I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. It's his daughter. Buddy Ace added to the court record. Okay. We're back. April 20th, 2:45 p.m. District Court, Court number 2. Court now reconvene. Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Hello. Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will the witness state his name and occupation? This is first necessary, Your Honor. Believe me, it's far stranger things is going on in this courtroom. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How do you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing it means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an ardent interest in it. Phoenix, why are you objecting again? How did you get over here? I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright? What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Paula? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. I think the more that had all night, never taking off once, except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh. Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime. The hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up, placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to see Mr. Pitt's bald head, you have to be at the scene of the crime. At the time of the crime. In other words, you have to be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? Okay. We just sensed that man that troubled me, so I turned to the club. Went down to the basement and peeked through the little window of the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appeared in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand. Since it was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. So you witnessed the murder. For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, I may remind you on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. You need to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through the little window. Mr. Wright? Who to say that? Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Just so you're prepared. Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Sir Gavin. The show is getting weirder and weirder. It's crazy. Okay. Disappears. Okay, I'm just gonna take this from the top. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So you knew the true nature of your client's job. Of course, but I also knew he was engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends, after all. Waiting for my friend to return to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith may be so incoming to settle the score. I see. What happened then? Went to the basement and he peeked in the window. The little window. You meant the one used to keep watch up the stairs. It's a relic of the ancient past. That black marketeers used it, I believe. Why do you go through peeking through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I don't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? Be walking in their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far, everything he's saying makes sense. I didn't know it was right after the murder. Really, no need to shout, Majestus. I was just getting to that part of my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West, we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on a witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Okay, he was dead. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene. Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. Mr. Wright came and placed the hat. He described the scene of the crime for us. Okay. And Wright holding the bottle. Those were the three scene of the crime. Yes, as far as I saw at least. And we're back where we started. There was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But when you talked to the police? 2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, none of us was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Just suggested I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose? Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question, then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary. How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card was swapped and it was the 5th ace. The 5th ace, right. Oh, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? I mean, I can. Because there's blood on this one. What color is this? This is red. Single drop of blood marks the front of the card. Not yet. No, not yet, Your Honor. Not yet. Ha! Pathetic. Not yet. Try never. Well, Mr. Gavin. Oh, I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. We don't even know what the heck I'm looking for. Apollo. Yes, sir. Don't forget, you already know the answer. You just don't realize it yet. I already know the answer. Take a moment to think it over again, okay? Yeah, it's the card, isn't it? Because blood got on the card and it's like, oh, we can't have that. It has to be the card. Yep, I can, sure. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. And go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace? Because there's blood on it. My reason is, this. Is that an ace? Why, it's got blood on it. Right next to the spade. What? This is insane. Why didn't I told him about this? Why? Could this be the missing 5th ace? Inconceivable. How could you... What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card. It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Brush Polo Club the night after the murder occurred. Give it to my daughter. Cards are a stock in trade, after all. No, impossible. It's unacceptable. The court can accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can I be so sure? What? I would think that only a person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Let me elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? Reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Taking a look at the photo. And the victim's head. The moment of the crime, head fell to the floor. A trickle of blood ran from his forehead down in the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh. Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can assess the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is the answer to your question. What are you talking about? You want to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene? And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been a decisive evidence, you see. This is conjecture. Baseless. Hey, you're doing the thing. Oh, sure, it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really. A single drop of blood in a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo. Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Ooh. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And before the killer swapped the card out, there's a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there's one decisive problem with this scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses. His position doesn't fit with the bloody card. I mean, if it's the victim's blood, that doesn't fit. Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic, Mr. Justice. Well, look. The victim was struck in the head, sitting him back in his chair. You think any blood would be fall behind the body, not on the table in front of him. Ah! You could look at the photo again. He bled in this position. Blood would fall into the floor and none in the cards. Wait, that's right. So, what does this mean? Well, we will find out what it means next time. So until then.